All right, everybody, welcome back to the Owner's Manual. Today we got a fire one in our home city, Des Moines, Iowa. It's one of the best put together studios that I've been in our city. We got my man Alex with us, engineer, co-owner. Today we're just gonna walk y'all through, man, show y'all what they did with this place. It's beautiful. The rug. So who did this piece right here?
We paid this guy Rotten Yellow. He's from here.
Ron Yellow, we shot him out. That's fire.
He came in over 4 days for me.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah, he did a crazy job. It was wild to watch him do it.
That's hard. So you got to see him do this.
Yeah, start literally nothing.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know it's definitely gonna be some people in the comment section want to check him out. Go ahead, check my boy Rotten Yellow out. He fire. It's his Instagram. Hold on though. Check the details out. Not the Dior ones. Okay, the Travis. That's fire. That's fire. So how many rooms again is in here? You say?
Three different rooms.
3 rooms. And when did y'all? When did this thing open?
Would have been late 2021. The whole building was like an empty warehouse, and so yeah, I drew out the blueprints. We gave it to a contractor. There was a bunch of like different things, special things we had to do for soundproofing. Like the entire ceiling system is hung by these huge springs, and none of it touches the walls. And then like all the walls are brick filled with sand, 6-inch studs filled with soundproofing, and then 3 layers of sheetrock with sound glue in between each one. So
Okay.
like they'll be running cars out in the garage that are 2,000 horsepower cars, and
You can't hear
banging them
nothing.
off the red line, and you can't hear it in here. So it's nice.
Okay, that's fire. The C1 suite. Make sure everybody see that. Yeah, this thing beautiful right here. Check out the details. The orange is just fire hitting off of the white and the black. Got some guitars over there. Vintage carpet. Okay, let's talk about these, man.
Taylor, all hardwood, acoustic. It's cool. It's really nice and warm, which is not normal for a Taylor. They're normally pretty bright. The 7-string is this company from, I think, Finland or Sweden. It's like crazy because they do tests with them and put them in like freezers and then take them out and put them in the heat, and they won't warp because it's all one solid piece.
Mm.
And then this is like a 1970s Japanese guitar, actually, that is they actually had to stop making them because it was too closely modeled to a Les Paul. And then the periphery, Ibanez, and then got another Taylor over here, Fender bass, Les Paul, Sheraton, and a Telecaster.
Do you do a lot of work with these, or
Yeah, like
which one your go-to?
depends on the genre. For like my country stuff, I do a lot of with the Tele, and then actually it's probably sacrilegious, but I do a lot with the Ibanez on the country stuff.
Okay.
And then the Les Paul. Les Pauls are one of my favorites. They're just really beefy tones. So, but yeah.
Okay. It's a beautiful desk right here. Let's talk about this desk. What's this?
So, I don't remember what that. It's like a modular desk, I think. Essentially, it was like I wanted all my gear in front of me instead of like off to the sides or down below.
Almost like a mastering desk?
Kind of, yeah. It's just like all it is 4 rack mounts across the front. And it's all dropped down into the back, so you have plenty of room to get to everything. Makes it easy for like when a new piece of gear comes or when I want to like rearrange stuff. Tube-Tech CO1B. By far, in my opinion, the best vocal compressor.
For sure, I agree.
I like it on bass guitar a lot too. But it's butter for the vocals. It just sounds so good. Literally, that's been the workhorse for every session we're doing vocals. It's on every vocal I record.
Makes sense.
Yeah, you can't beat it. It's just the tube saturation that comes with it, the transparency of the compressor. I mean, you can smack a vocal and you're not gonna hear it like crunching down or anything. Like, and that was one thing when I had the plug-in, it was very unforgiving.
Mm-hmm.
But then below that's just a company called Blackline Audio.
Mm-hmm.
They do a bunch of like clone-esque work. It was one of the first pieces of gear that I bought before this studio even. These are super cool because you have your normal gain, and then they have something called a coarse gain and fine gain knob. So coarse gain is like your regular gain on any other preamp, and then this fine gain, it's like it almost feels like harmonic saturation being added and being taken away. I like those for vocals, acoustic guitar a lot. I don't know, pretty much anything you send through it, you can make sound really good. And then Empirical Labs Distressor.
You know that one.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's the best all-around compressor. It can do everything. You can send anything to it and it'll sound nice.
Mm-hmm.
Use it a lot for vocals, bass, acoustic,
anything.
Snare,
I'm familiar with the Distressor.
Great. But then over here we have the Kemper. Essentially all that, like, not all that is, but like the biggest thing I run into with any kind of VST amps is that they sound fake, extremely fake. This is essentially that. Like, it holds up to 1,000 different amps, but it sounds real. And I got the powered one, so I can hook a cab up in the other room and still mic the cab.
So you said VST, so this run through a plugin?
No, so like essentially it's the same idea. Like, it takes a minute to boot, but essentially it's like you can go in, like in a VST, you can pick all these different amps, different cabs, stuff like that. It's just in a hardware form, and so you get like the electronic.
Oh, got you.
Like the actual like electricity running through sound. So it just sounds super real. I use it on probably 90% of band records at this point. But I've done it where we've run the Kemper and, like I said, put a cab in the other room so that you still get the true speaker breakup. You're not trying to like imitate that, and I like doing that a lot. Your routing and just in your tracks, like think of this as your input, like, because I've got it all set up so that the tops are my inputs, bottoms are my outputs. So if I want to go out of my Neve into my Harrison, out of my Harrison into my Mag, out of my Mag into my CL1B, and then back into Pro Tools.
Okay.
So it's like just like following the in and out chain of what you're routing. But it makes everything easier because like prior to this studio, I was like unplugging and plugging cables into the back of gear, and
that's what I'm used to.
Pain in the ass.
Yes, but I see a lot about these.
Yeah, I mean they're not like they're used to have. It's like the NS10s were used as back in the day. Like they're not used as a nice speaker. It's used as like this is what a consumer grade speaker sounds like. So then you can check your mix because like they don't have a ton of bottom end, they don't have a ton of top end, so you really can focus in the mid range.
Right.
Whereas these have like such an extended top end that like sometimes I'll get lost in it.
Right. So you running a sub with these?
Yeah, it's over here, but it's just right now I'm just running a down firing. I'd like to get the Adams front firing, but it'll come in time. And then like I shot the room with a frequency analyzer, and then the company that I use made this little box where you can just load it in, so you don't have to run a plug-in or anything for it. It just is automatically correcting your speakers.
Called Arc Studio.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to check them out.
Yeah. It's cool, like especially if like you're running a situation where you can't control certain things in a room as far as frequency, but you want to make sure that the room is as flat as possible when you're mixing.
Right.
Yeah, it's an awesome option. There's other options out there. I've just used that company's version of the Spectrum analyzer for forever. And so when they came out with the box, which was just like earlier this year, I was like, oh, then I don't have to run this processor intensive plugin. It just does it for me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
That's always good to have.
Yeah, so the glass is like an inch thick, both panels. And then there's their gap between. It was super funny when the construction guys were building it. The window company sent 2 guys to install it. And they were like, these are like 1,400 pounds. How are 2 of us supposed to pick these up and install them? But yeah, we've got it treated. It's kind of crazy. Like, it wasn't intentional, but for whatever reason, like, this room, the drum tones in it are just super full, like, just beefy. And I'll always, like, you know, set up the drums in one spot, set up the drums in a different spot. And then, like, what I learned from, like, my mentors and my teachers is, like, the fun part about drums is just running around the room and, like, looking like a crazy person, like, putting your head next to the floor and finding, like, a cool spot in the room, just throw up another random room mic.
What mics you typically use on drums?
It changes quite a bit. Right now I'm running KM84s as overheads, which I'm going to start, because we just got the second U87, I'm going to start doing overheads with U87s and then spot miking some cymbals with the KM84s. And then snare, kind of depends on the snare, whether I'm just going to go with the 57 or there's a German company called Mic Tech that makes a mic that I got for a snare. It sounds like a 57, but it seems like a bit more open, like it's got a bit more headroom to it, which I like. And then kick changes constantly, but right now I think I'm running, I think it's called P90. It's like a piezo mic for the in kick. Then I have a kick out mic, which changes. I sometimes use the U87, and then I have a sub kick that I'd like to put on it, just so I can really capture the low end, which all a sub kick mic is a backwards wired subwoofer.
Okay.
Yeah, and then toms, I've got some, I'm trying to remember what they are even. I don't know, that's where I'm at right now. I have different mics I want to buy for some drum stuff, so. Yeah, I really want the Sennheiser, I think it's Sennheiser, the 421s for toms. Yeah, so that one's my new one. I mean, it's the new U87 of the U87s that I have, but I don't know, man. I haven't found a vocalist that doesn't sound good on it. It's just, what I like about it is the high end is smooth, whereas like when you get into the cheaper mics, the high end gets brittle or it gets too sharp, and you can't fix brittle. Like no matter what you do, you can't EQ out brittle. The mic's just super full and it sounds good. There's some other mics that eventually I'd like to have. Like I would love to have a U67, which is pretty much the same mic, but it's tube driven. But everything comes in time, you know.
All right.
What engineer doesn't have a want list that's a mile long?
Christmas list.
Yeah, literally. But yeah, I love it. It sounds good on everything. I'll even like use it on guitar cabs. Like I said, kick drums. I'm excited to try them out for overheads. Very excited.
I've actually seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen people do
I
that.
think I'll use them as overheads before I decide to use them as rooms, unless for whatever reason they don't sound good on overheads. But I've heard a lot of like examples and they do sound very good.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that'll be the option, but I've got some other they're like 414s that I use for room mics. And like I'm always experimenting with different placements of mics because why not? You
right.
know? That's what I love.
Figure out the sweet spot.
Yeah, I mean that's what I love about engineering is it's everything is a new challenge, and there's always a better way to do it. You just have to figure it out. Like you'll never stop learning, and so it never gets boring.
Right, I agree.
Because like you're never going to be the best. Like there'll always be somebody, unless you're Al Schmidt. He has like 36 Grammys to his name or something.
Damn.
Yeah, and I always tell people like I'm not like don't compare me to other people because I'm not shit until I'm on the same level as him. And if I ever am blessed to get to that point, he'll probably have more at that time. So it's like You know what I mean? It's always a race to get to the top, but
Right.
I've found to just love the journey of it. I don't care about like the ego side of things. I just want to be, every time I do a song for somebody or every time I do a band mix, I want it to be better than the one I did yesterday.
It's always the goal for sure. And especially when you're an engineer, though, you always want every mix to be better than the last mix.
Yeah, I mean, because if you grow content, what's the point?
Exactly.
It's just like any other job. Then, like, show up to Wells Fargo and sit at a desk and do the same bullshit every single day. Like,
it's gonna create burnout.
Yeah. And like, I think there's a certain level of burnout with being an engineer, but it's about like being able to reset yourself and know that like you're doing something because you have a love for it.
Right.
Like, that's what I tell like new engineers that come in here, even artists as a whole. Like, if you're not doing music or doing engineering because you love it, you're gonna fall on your face and you're gonna quit. And it's not a if you're gonna fall on your face, you will, and you'll do it. You'll do it 1,000 times. And if you don't love it, you won't keep getting back up.
Exactly.
Because I see too many different people just trying to do it for money or for clout or whatever, and it doesn't work that way. Like, you're gonna fall down, and then you're not gonna want to get it back up, and then you're gonna be jaded and pissed because it didn't work out for you. But maybe if you would have just kept going.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
You just can't give up.
You can't. This is a never-ending race. Like,
all of it. Yeah. Anything to do with anything creative is a never-ending race.
Yeah.
And but like I said, you learn to fall in love with the journey of that idea, and it doesn't get old. It's fun. It's fun coming in and working with the different artists and like seeing artists grow and seeing like I had one guy come in here and we pulled up a song he had done back at the old spot.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, man, look at how far you've come as an artist. Like, sit back and give yourself some flowers. Because, like, especially as an artist and as an engineer, you get caught up in what you're doing now that you don't take the step back and be like, shit, even 6 months ago to that mix to this mix, look at how much I've grown.
Yeah, that was always my problem. Like, I still have that problem to this day. Like, in the moment, I never feel like it's good enough until hindsight. When I'm listening to it again, I'm like, oh shit, I was going crazy.
Yeah.
But I in the moment, I'm like, it's just,
I gotta fix this. I gotta fix this. This is wrong. How do I fit? And it's like, nah, it's a journey. I tell all my guys that, like, don't get frustrated at the fact that it's a process, because you can't train your ears overnight. It's not like I can like download something into your brain that all of a sudden you hear things. And like, that's what's cool to me about engineering is like, yes, if you have good tools, it will make it better, but it's all about your ear. It's all about how you hear and perceive music. And like, for me, it's like there's good and then there's great. Once you hit great, everything past that is subjective, because It's like, there's nothing wrong with the mix, but I want less 808 or I want less this.
Preference at that point.
Yeah. But that's what makes different engineers who they are, is because it's like certain artists do want what you give.
Yes, it's taste. Like, everybody got their own, you know. So that's really what you're hearing. It's just different tastes.
Yeah.
Honestly.
But at the end of the day, like I said, once it gets to great, it all sounds good. It's just, what different thing about this do you like in this? And like, there was an interview that I was watching one time. It was with Future's old engineer before he died.
Seth.
Yeah, and he was talking about like, because it was at Pensado's place, and Dave Pensado was like,
shout out to Dave Pensado. He the pioneer for this, what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, I got to see him do 2 of the live ones at NAMM. That was super cool. But anyways, like he was saying, he came up in the metal live mixing world, and he was like, because of the way I approached mastering and rap, he was like, it changed what, like, I would have people come to me specifically to give them that. And it was something to do with the way he did his low end. And because Dave was like, you're responsible for the way Atlanta sounds. And he brushed him off like, no, I'm not. But like, he was.
But you are.
Yeah. But that's also cool to see, is like, dudes who are the dudes people like you and me look up to.
Right.
They're just dudes.
Exactly.
Like, they're just guys, and like they don't, like, we're in the background for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, they don't want to be on the rock star status. They just want to know and that they did a good job and be proud of it. That's why I tell artists when I'm mixing something, like, if I don't get enough, like, if I'm not given enough time to mix or whatever, they don't want to pay for an out of a session mix, and they want, like, they get their rough bounce at the end of a session, they want to drop it. I'm like, you can do that because I can't tell you what to do with your music.
But I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, and don't put my name on it.
Yeah. There's a,
and like when I say that,
process.
It makes people reevaluate it a little bit and be like, because a lot of them will be like, well, why? And I'm like, because I'm not proud of that. Like, I'm like, I feel good that you're proud of something that isn't finished, but I want to be as proud of your song as you are of it. Like,
once you explain it to me like that, I would immediately like,
most of them.
Oh, okay, I'm locking in with him because he actually cares about it then.
Yeah, because like, I mean, I tell people, like, people's songs are my business card. People are gonna hear a song before they ever see me in person, and I have a chance to give them a business card. So I want every single song to represent me on something I'm proud to have my name attached to. Otherwise, it's like one bad song could ruin it.
For sure. And it's always the bad thing they remember.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know why it's like that, but that's always how it happens.
I'm like in the process of figuring out like rewiring through the wall and stuff this winter so that I can do especially like when we're doing band stuff, like each person has their own little mixer setup where it's like, all right, this channel's drums, this is vocals, this is bass, you mix it how you want to hear it, because that's a big thing. Even as a vocalist, like, it's a big thing to hear the track how you want to hear it while you're putting vocals on it, because it'll make the performance that much better.
Exactly. And see, from my experience, you know, I've been everywhere.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Sonic Factory yet. I've been in there, but I never recorded there yet. But I've been everywhere out here. I haven't been here, actually, so I can't say everywhere. But pretty much everywhere. And most places are only equipped for vocals, I should say, that I've saw. That's what makes your place kind of unique, because you could do full bands. I would say you could probably do a choir in here.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of random stuff over like the last year even. Like I was doing a band project, and they had two of the people from the Des Moines Orchestra come in and play cello and viola on the record, and that was super fun. I hadn't really had a chance to record that live before. And then like I've done some voiceover work this year, and that was extremely cool to me, because like it was a situation where the producer of the show had to like Zoom call in. All the audio had to be routed so that they're hearing what's coming out of the mic, not what's coming out of my speaker. And then they were sitting there talking to her, coaching her, and the guy too that was here for the other one. But like seeing that side of things as an engineer, it was like he was super interested in what I was doing, and I was super interested in what he was doing. So when she got done, me and him sat here and talked on that Zoom call for like 30 minutes about just different stuff. And
That's dope.
It was just cool. And like, it was also cool to see, because like the first one I had done, it was just like voiceover where like you don't see their mouth ever. So like narration type stuff. But the second one, she had to redo her lines because the lines they captured when they taped it were all messed up. And so like we streamed the episode to the TV, and she had to watch herself. It was cool to see her be able to turn on her character in an instant, and like them giving her like minor things that they wanted her to change, her being able to understand that immediately and change it on spot was like, yeah, it was insane. I was blown away at the level of talent. And then like being able to watch her mouth move, and like she's sitting there, because I'm watching it in there too, like she's sitting there saying it live, and I can't tell because it's lined up so perfect. So
it's professionals.
Yeah, it was,
that's dope that you even attract that type of work.
Yeah, and I like honestly, I never got any work like that until this place was open, but it's because companies like that want to send their talent to a professional place, and like a place that's like not in your house, not in your backyard, like an actual business location. And so yeah, I've gotten lucky with stuff like that, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been cool to see different sides of the business.
Nah, that's definitely what's up. I've seen your growth from mothership to now. This is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got 3 rooms in here. Big accomplishment for you guys, because this thing is, like I said, state of the art.
Yeah, and he won't take the credit for it, but I give all the credit to my business partner. Like, he's pushed me to, like, first off, he pushed me to keep doing this stuff and take it to a larger level, which when you are way more invested in something, it becomes way more stressful. And like, I had someone that worked with me, but it was never like before, but it was never like a boss to employee relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And like having to learn that and learn how to like function on that level.